Utah versus Arizona is a really underrated game that I don't think enough people are talking about. Arizona, they're a 1 point favorite. This pretty much is a pick 'em, and they're one of the hottest teams in college football right now. They got a win over Colorado on the road, which was a really close and tightly contested game. They smashed UCLA. They beat Oregon State by 3 at home. Utah, on the other hand, they're coming off a close loss to Washington, and that game was a lot closer than what people expected. Bryson Barnes, he showed the ability to be a solid quarterback as long as he's able to take care of the football. And he's going up against an Arizona defense that's a couple notches better than the defense that the Utes faced last week in the Washington Huskies. Arizona, their defense has a pretty solid pass rush. They're really good in the red zone, and they're 14th in college football in rushing yards per game allowed, which is really big because the identity of Utah's team is their run game. They're a run-first operation. And when you think about the style of football that Utah plays under Kyle Whittingham, they're physical. They want to beat you up front. They want to impose their will on you. And if Arizona can take away the run game and make Utah one-dimensional and make this a game where Bryson Barnes has to beat them through the air, you like your chances if you're a Wildcat fan. But their defense, though, when you look at their pass defense, their secondary, I don't think it's all that great. And Colorado definitely was able to have success against this Arizona secondary. And that was probably one of the better offensive performances that we've seen out of the Buffs in the past month or so. So if you look at the performance that Bryson Barnes had against USC and even Washington last week, you feel really confident about his ability to lead Utah in the win in this game as long as you can play complementary football. If this becomes a game where Utah has to throw it to win and they can't get no help from the run game, they're going to be in trouble. They do have a really good offensive line, and defensively, in my opinion, they still have the best defense in the Pac-12. Now, you can say, well, JT, their defense gave up a lot of points against Washington. They got blown out by Oregon, and they gave up a lot against USC. I understand that. But you also got to take into account that Utah was going up against some of the best quarterbacks in the sport, and plus their offense wasn't really giving them a lot of assistance against Oregon. And even last week against Washington, Bryson Barnes threw 2 back-breaking interceptions. If Bryson Barnes can take care of the football and this defense doesn't have to be put in bad situations, there's a good chance that Utah can win this game. Yes, they're going on the road against a red-hot Arizona team. And Arizona, they're a really scary team. Offensively, they can beat you in a variety of different ways. They got 2 monsters at running back. Both of their running backs, Jonah Coleman and DJ Williams, are both 225 pounds. They're like Hess trucks. You give these fools the ball and they're looking to cause some damn violence. Shit, Jonah Coleman last week was a one-man wrecking machine against Colorado. This dude was averaging 16.5 yards per carry every time he tote the rock. And DJ Williams, like I mentioned earlier, he's a monster in his own right. Utah, though, they're really good against the run. They got one of the best run defenses in all of America. But even if you're able to slow down the rushing attack of Arizona, they can beat you throwing the football. They are deep at wide receiver. They're really talented at that position. And they got a really good quarterback in Noah Fafita that's really starting to emerge as one of the best up-and-coming quarterbacks in college football. So this is an Arizona offense that's really nice. They can beat you in a variety of different ways. Their offensive line is pretty solid as well. Utah's going to have their work cut out for them. On paper, Arizona looks like the better team. But Utah is one of those teams that you can never count out because in most games when they're going against top-tier competition, they never really are given the benefit of a doubt when it comes to their talent. And they're not really a team that I believe wins just purely based on talent. They've been dealing with injuries all season long. This is a team that wins off grit and really great coaching from Kyle Whittingham. And you're going to need that to be able to beat this Arizona team. But Arizona barely was able to beat Colorado last week. And this is a Colorado team that isn't playing good football. And you would have thought that Arizona would have looked a little bit more dominant with the way their pass rush has performed this season. But Shedeur Sanders had a good amount of time to make some big throws downfield against this defense. If Bryson Barnes can take care of the football and he doesn't have any costly mistakes, I like Utah to win this game, and I'm going to take the Utes to win this game. This is one of those games where I think Kyle Whittingham and his ability to have this team ready to play and play up for competition in big games that they're evenly matched in is going to show. Arizona, they're red hot right now. They're one of the hottest teams in college football, but I think that their win streak ends here. Kyle Whittingham, I think they're being a little bit slept on in this game just because Arizona, their offense has way more to work with than what they have to work with. But against Washington and USC, they've shown the ability to be formidable throwing the football. And I don't think they need a big day on the ground to win this game. I don't think they need to go for 200 plus. I think all Utah needs to do is be able to play complimentary football, and they can win this game. Arizona, like they showed last week, that against Colorado, they weren't as good as the teams that they previously beat before that. This is the Arizona team that beat UCLA and Oregon State. And they're a really good team at home. Hell, they gave Washington a scare. But I don't think that they're going to keep winning against this tough, physical Utah team. And if you're an Arizona fan, you can say, well, JT, we beat Oregon State. They're a physical football team. Yes, they are. But I don't think your defense is good enough to completely neutralize this Utah offense. And I do think that Bryson Barnes, the pig farmer, and these running backs can get some points up on the board for Utah. And I think that their defense is definitely going to be able to get a few stops or more on this Arizona Wildcats offense. I like Utah to win this game. 31-24 is my final score prediction for this match.